Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh my goodness. I was just in another live. That's so funny. I was in another live and I popped over here to this live. Too funny. Oh, hi, Simply Taisha. How are you? How are you? She says we myself and the downsides keeps her busy on Wednesdays. I agree 100%. Hi, Debbie. How are you? Hi, Lakeisha. How are you? Oh my goodness, you guys. It is. Can you believe Christmas is next week? I'm just in awe about that. I just can't believe it. It doesn't seem real that next week is Christmas already. So, um, how's your week going so far? This is considered hump day. I just yes, I'm getting my daughter ready for bed. She's normally in the bed by now, but we are making out cards for her teacher. So she has gift cards here that we have to pass out tomorrow. Friday's the last day, but I want to give them out tomorrow just in case. So she was writing her little thank yous, and so that's why she's up a little bit longer. But today we are talking about something that is near and dear to my heart, and so it's not in a good way sometimes, and that is stress. That is stress. So we're going to talk about how to manage stress, and when people say, you hear a lot of people say that people have passed away from stress, like it can wreak havoc on your body. I always wonder, like, how though? Because you can't see stress, can you? And so I actually did some research and looked it up. And then I thought, well, we're taking, or I am taking a GLP-1 medication. And I thought, okay, well, that's not going to affect me now because I'm taking a GLP-1 med. But I don't know if that's true either. So, that stress will get you. So we kind of have to learn ways to kind of manage that. So in the chat, we have Simply Taisha. We have Lakeisha. We have Debbie. I said hi to Debbie. And I saw somebody else come in. Mia and Z. How are you? Nadia, Alonda. Hello, hello, hello. So yeah, we're going to be talking about handling stress. Now, Alonda is an educator, so I know for a fact she knows all about handling stress, especially this time of the year. So let's just get started. Let's get started. So I want to know in the chat if you could tell me what is the number one cause of stress, not your stress, but hey, Kim J, just in general, what do you think the number one cause of stress is? What do you think? I think might not be as obvious as what people think. What's the number one cause of stress? Oh, I see a guess in the chat. What do you guys think? Simply Taisha says bills. Alonda says money. Lakeisha says bills. Simply Taisha says money too. So we have two money. Bills, I would put that in the same category. Debbie says, yep, money. What? Oh, Z is saying money too. All right, any more guesses? Okay, okay, okay. So you know what? When I first saw this, I didn't think money. I don't know why. But you're right. It is money. Bills, money. It's financial. Anything financial is a stressor. And so a couple of the other things that came in the top three, I want to say I kept seeing these over and over. It wasn't really like a top one, top two, top three, but I kept seeing these next two over and over. And it was you're right. It was like your job. That's a stressor for a lot of people. They kept saying inflation. So I'm guessing this was a relatively newer study. I would see that pop up. But your health, which really reminded me of us, your health was a big stressor for most people. And so it was money, it was health, and it was your job. And of course, when you keep going down that line, of course, your family, relationships, and all that come into it. But isn't that interesting? The top three are, health and wellness is in that top three. And so we answered number two, the other causes of stress. So number one, again, is like money, your financial health. We would let's call that. And then the other two is your job, and your, what did I say? Oh, health and wellness. And so I want to know in the chat, what is your main cause of stress? And I'm going to put mine in the chat too. What is my main cause of stress right now? I would say, and this is not necessarily in a bad way, it's just because you have so many things to do with it. I'm going to say family. I'm going to say family. Hey, Real Talk with Elaine. Hi, everyone, she say. She say, great topic. Okay, so what is your cause of stress? Okay, so let's see. People are putting their main cause of stress in the chat. So, Simply Taisha, is your so wait, we'll start with Debbie. Debbie says family. I guess, is that your main cause, Debbie? Or were you taking a guess at the other two? Simply Taisha says relationship, personal, professional. Is that your personal one? My personal one was family. Um, Going out in public because I love being in the comfort of my own home. So you get stressed about that. So when you say you get stressed, like how do you feel, Simply Taisha? Do you get worked up? Does your heart speed? Do you get anxious? Like, how does that look? That's so Raina said all of the above. Um, okay. My main cause of stress is definitely kids. Yes, I agree with that, Elaine. Mine too. Yes, I can see money, health, work being the top three stressors. So, Kim J, can you share what yours would be if you don't mind telling us? Mia says family. Okay, Mia, so we have that in common. We're both saying family. Z, having to pay $550 a month for the medication. Yes, that is a stressor. And, I will share that. I want to say when I started off on 2.5, I think I stayed on 2.5 for a couple of months. And when I moved up to 5, I want to say it was like in April, around the time that whole shortage broke out. And I was able to stay on to get the 5 the first time, I believe. And then when I went to get it the second time, they didn't have it. And I was just smooth sailing. I just knew that this shortage was not going to affect me when it first started. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I felt so bad for people who couldn't get it. And I just knew I was just, like Adele says, rolling in the deep. I knew I was just rolling right along. And then I couldn't get the 5. So I had to go back down to 2.5. But that brought me some stress. That's the first time I really had to think about, like, what am I going to do if I can't get the medication? And so I went down, to the 2.5, which was fine because I think that's the dose I probably did the best on, probably because my body was just getting used to it. But yeah, it was, it was stressful. So I can't even imagine paying $550 a month and being stressed out with that whole stressor of it. I mean, geez, Louise. So I can totally understand that. Lakeisha says shopping for the holidays brings her stress. Oh my goodness. Have you shopped for the holidays? Are you done shopping? Is your stress over, Lakeisha? Alonda says money, definitely. Yeah, money is a big stressor. Work is your main stressor. Yes, work is the main stressor. And I can say, like, now I'm not, making money with YouTube at all, but I consider this this is almost kind of becoming like a second job because it's something else I feel responsible for that I have to do. And even though I'm not getting paid for it, it's, totally a joy of mine. It can be a little bit stressful. This could be a little bit stressful. So I would imagine even if you are an entrepreneur, it could be stressful. It could be stressful. I don't think I've ever, shared, but I have a little, I guess I'm technically an author. I haven't shared that with a lot of people. I've written some educational books and I've written some and design some books that I sell on Amazon. And I really had no reason to bring that up in this, but the reason why I'm bringing it up now is because it's like I guess I'm a little bit of an entrepreneur, right? And so that's probably the one thing that's not stressful. Amazon does all the work. I don't have to do a thing at all. I just get notified when a payment comes to my bank account. So that is a stress-free job I'm doing. And actually, I kind of let it go, and I haven't really paid much attention to it. But I said I was going to start getting back into that, and just kind of writing some books and making some more things. And really, what started me out was my daughter, like being motivated to create a workbook for my daughter, and a cartoon, like not a cartoon, a sketchbook for my daughter, and things like that. So yeah, I'm a little bit of it. I guess I'm technically an author, and I never say that, but I guess it's true. It's true. But that's a stress-free job. So that is a job that is stress-free. And I love that. I love that. Mia says, my main stress today is pending surgery next Friday. That's right, Mia. You have that surgery coming up. Have to be off my foot till healing. Have to not drive and not to work. Man, it's stressful because I don't want to gain or have bill issues. Oh, that is stressful. So I hope you have some support. At least with like helping you around, getting around, because you're probably gonna have to put that foot up and not, be as mobile, I would imagine. And yeah, the stress of not working, having to pay those bills, that is very stressful. Hi, 2.0 mommy, how are you? How are you? And then everybody's saying hello to 2.0 mommy. So let's talk about like why, because I always, when I think about stuff, I always wonder like, why does that happen? Like, why is this happening? So let's talk about the why. I don't know if you guys can see that, but how does stress make you gain weight? And so does stress really cause weight gain? I was like, I just always wondered, like, how is that true? So stress and weight gain are linked, and not just because you're not maintaining your typical healthy lifestyle, but when you're stressed, it says your body kicks into fight or flight mode, which is so true. I could feel that when it's happening. It releases the hormone adrenaline to help you fight off whatever that threat is. And to build up energy to deal with the threat, your body releases glucose or sugar in your bloodstream. And then we all know with this medication is really helping us with controlling that. But when the adrenaline wears off and your blood sugar levels drop, the hormone cortisol, which I'm sure you guys are all familiar with that, it jumps in and it provides you with more energy to kind of help you with that threat. And so the problem with that, though, is since cortisol stimulates the release of insulin in order to maintain your blood sugars, it also can trigger you to have sugar cravings and just trigger that appetite. So when you give in to those cravings, it leads to weight gain. And anybody in here, have you guys had cravings on the GLP-1? Because I've heard people say they didn't. I'm one of those people that have still had cravings. But like I said, they're like, before, if I had cravings the size of if I had cravings, large cravings on a scale from 1 to 10, before my cravings were like a 15. Now my cravings might be like a 4. And once I get like a little bit of whatever I'm craving for, that's enough to like kind of, reel me back in. So, or even my taste buds have sometimes changed. And, I really wanted like a piece of chocolate, or I like chocolate with caramel and nuts, something like that. Really, a protein bar hits the spot. If I have to have the real candy bar, like I say real candy bar, like a Snickers or like a Twix, I only really eat like a little fun size piece of it, and that takes away the craving. So when you have a lot of that cortisol, it makes you hungry, but it also can slow down your metabolism at the same time, which is another mechanism to help you conserve your energy so you could deal with whatever stress is going on. So not only does, that cortisol trigger us to have that sugar craving, it also triggers us to be hungry, and your metabolism slows down. And so it's kind of like a double whammy, almost like a double whammy. And so now this is, I thought about Simply Taisha when I read this, because it says cortisol can also decrease lean muscle mass. According to this study, it says muscle burns through fuel faster than fat, meaning it burns more calories. So when you are stressed and your body is stressed, it wants to hang on to that fat so it can save more energy. This decrease in muscle mass can also make it more difficult to manage your weight. And so I never knew that. Simply Taisha, did you know that? I thought that was an interesting fact. Um, so I guess this is one of the reasons why, though, having more muscle mass and working on, building muscle and not so much the focus on cardio can also help with that. Because, if like for me, I probably don't have a lot of muscle mass like I need. And so, when my body's decreasing that muscle mass is like a double whammy for me. But somebody like Simply Taisha, who's building muscle and has muscle now, it's probably going to be harder for her to decrease that. So I think that's another reason for us to start doing that strength training if we're not already. And then I always wonder too, like, how do you know when you are stressed? Well, here are some things that they say to look for. And some of these symptoms and signs remind me of what you experienced taking a GLP-1. So headaches. I didn't know indigestion was a symptom of being stressed, but it is because it ties into, how you're digesting that food and what's happening, with your body when it's processing things. Aches and pains, tense muscles, mood changes, fatigue, which fatigue is, a lot of things fall under that. Difficulty falling asleep or even staying asleep can be a sign of stress. Difficulty with your short-term memory. We know what I always think about is like increasing your heart rate, like getting hot. Like look at the lady on here, like she's kind of sweaty. I think of that. And I've seen people actually look stressed and they look like they're sweaty. They look like they haven't slept in a long time. Heart rate, the heart might be beating fast. Now, number 10 says decreased sex drive. So that's also a thing too when you are stressed out. So that's a reason for us to not let our spouses or significant others stress us out. So does any of these symptoms, has anybody ever had any of these signs or symptoms? Let's go back in the chat. Let's look in the chat and see what people are saying. Okay, so let's see. In our chat, it says, okay, we already said that. Oh, we talked to, let me find. Okay. Oh my gosh, this is Mia telling us about her surgery. I have a lot of outpouring of offers to help. Felt very good because I was worried about that. Very good, very good. I'm not surprised. People seem to always step up when you need it. That I think people are really good at in heart. When you think about it. Kim J says the pharmacy has been more of a recent stressor, running out of meds, not communicating, then waiting until the last minute to order them to get back in stock. That is stressful. And I think you probably should report it. I don't know if you know that website. Maybe I should link it, after this video, this live, or link it in the chat. And I need to report too, because I ordered, 3 boxes of Mounjaro and the 10 milligrams. And at first they only had the one. When I went and, actually picked up my prescription, I asked the pharmacist if I was only getting the one because of my insurance or was it because they didn't have it? And she's like, oh no, your insurance is fine. She said they didn't have it. So maybe it wasn't even, she told me in the next week they would be calling me, and they did, and they had it in. So I got the other 2. But I just thought, I thought there wasn't a shortage. Like, why did it take, a week to get the other 2? So I would definitely report that, because I think if we stay on top of it, they have to stay on top of it, is, what I'm hoping and thinking. Thanks for sharing that. Lakeisha said, yes, it does make me eat more. Yeah, it does. It does. I'm currently doing some rearranging, so I won't be on the chat, but I'll have you on the TV. Yeah, we talked about that, how, it's cool to watch it on TV, but you can't really, text. YouTube, they got to work on that. Alonda says, yes. No cravings on Mounjaro. No cravings, Lakeisha. Good grief. Charlie Brown. Now they are about a 4.2. Oh, your cravings are about a 4. Okay, good. Yes, about a 4 as well. Well, and that is so far from that 15, so I'll take it. I'll take it. But still, I'm not one of those people who haven't had any cravings, and I'm also not one of those people who haven't been able to eat at all. You know how some people say, "Oh, I can't eat." Well, I haven't really experienced like that. Now, I've experienced being like a fuller feeling and not wanting to eat, but still eating because I'm trying to get to my 1,600 calories. But I haven't just been one of those people that I just can't eat at all. So, and I would attribute that to like staying on the lower doses for so long, maybe. I don't know. So we'll have to see about that. Kim J says, yes, running low funds, especially during the holidays, the season set aside for giving. I know, I know. Yeah, I was just saying when I first started this chat, I was, writing out some gift cards to my daughter's teachers, as a thank you. And, it's just like, that money adds up. It adds up. Then I have a friend who has a birthday tomorrow. So of course, I got her a little gift card. And so, it's just so many people I know have birthdays in December. So, it's almost double. You're buying for birthdays and the holidays. So it's a lot. Debbie says she still has cravings, but do a pretty good job controlling it. Super stressed. I can't eat until the crisis is over. Then I mindlessly eat for comfort still. So yeah, so you're still eating for comfort. And I've heard other people say they've had like some binge eating going on after they didn't eat for a while. And I guess that's probably why if I have a craving, I, just let myself have it. Like today, at my place of work, of course, it's been so many cookies and cupcakes and treats. And I let myself have the cookie because I thought, I don't want to be thinking about this cookie or saying I should have ate this cookie or feeling like I'm deprived. And then on the weekend, I could double up. So I had it and I didn't even need to eat the whole thing. I just ate a little bit of it. And it's so funny because I thought it wasn't as good as I was expecting it to be, but I'm kind of just glad I had a little bit of it and kept it moving. And I think that's what we have to learn how to do, especially if we don't want to. Some of us don't plan on being on this medication forever. But I always say a girl can change her mind, or a guy or anybody can change their mind. And so, maybe I will need to, but I don't plan to. So I want to do things that I, would do in the future to kind of help me out. 2.0 Mommy says, I've had all of those signs. Oh, yeah, I've had those too. Except for I don't know about the indigestion. I don't think I've had that. Some of these things, so I didn't know it was related to being stressed. I thought it was perimenopause, to be honest. So some of these symptoms overlap, so you just never know. I appreciate you all, Antoine, helping keep my spirits up, and I know I have a community who will keep me focused. Yes, we will. Um, Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Debbie says, yes, all those symptoms with stress. Kim says, Kim J, I probably experienced most of those signs at some point, some at the same time. Yeah, some of them do overlap for sure. I have cravings still and definitely getting worse. So Mia, your cravings are getting worse, but I can't take my injection till after the surgery because of the anesthesia. So that's probably why your cravings are worse, because you can't take the injection. I get that. So hopefully you can hold out. Maybe just make sure you keep some, snacks that are, GLP-1 approved, like, celery and, peppers. I don't know if you like green peppers, yellow peppers, red peppers, cucumbers, but all those things are going to make you have to go to the restroom. So you're going to be up. You're going to be moving one way or another. Hey, Jen. Hey, Jen. That's so Raina says, yes, the sweet and cravings aren't as good as I thought they would be. But when I have them, yes, and that kind of is a good thing, because it kind of, for me, it makes me not want to have it anytime soon. Like I could go a while without having it. And that's so Raina says, yes, the sweets I'm craving. Oh, okay. I already said that. Okay. All right. So let's see. So now, I wondered this when I was looking this up, because I thought, okay, so hormones are the cause. Hormones are the cause of a lot of things that's going wrong in a female's body, or anybody, with these hormones we have. But it says stress can significantly impact how well your GLP-1 medications work. So I wondered that. I thought, okay, so I feel like the GLP-1 medication is like me putting on my Superman cape, and when I did this research, it said not so fast. So it says that I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. It says that increased cortisol interferes with weight loss. Chronic stress can trigger the release of that hormone, and it, increases your cravings for the high-fat, sugary foods. And this counteracts the appetite-suppressing effects of the GLP-1 medications. So you can stress yourself right past all that stuff the medication is supposed to be doing for you, making it harder for you to stay on track with healthy eating. Stress can cause overeating, emotional eating, which reduces the effectiveness of those GLP-1s in promoting your weight loss. And that makes perfect sense. And I also think too, people also I know get stressed and don't eat. And so I really haven't had that a lot happen to me, to be honest. I'm one of those stress eaters. I'm not one of those people that stress and can't eat. It's very rare. So it says, let me take this comment off so I can really see this screen. I'm sorry. So it says GLP-1 medications slow digestion, which we know is something that helps us with this medication. GLP-1 medications naturally slow your gastric emptying to help you feel fuller longer. And I thought this was key. However, stress can further slow your digestion even more. So just think about that. We already have a slow gastric emptying that's helping us stay fuller longer. But if you are stressed and you let that stress really get to you, it can further slow that down, which leads to discomfort, which leads to bloating, and which leads to nausea, which is you getting sick. So for some, this may make those side effects even worse. So I see why, this made me, just kind of made me realize why people probably take this medication and they probably are stressed on top of everything else they have going on that led them to get on the medication. And that's probably why people stop after 2 or 3 months and don't stick with it for the long haul. So I can see if you're a person that's easily stressed, anxious, have anxiety, that this medication is going to be hard for you to stay on, and not just because you have constipation, right? Because that's what we always think. Well, people can't handle the basic side effects that we hear. And when I say basic, I mean not pancreatitis, if it affecting your thyroid, like those severe ones, but just the constipation, the being sick, the headaches. If you have stress, like you're in even more discomfort. So that makes me realize like why some people now can't stay on the medication. And so if you're somebody in the chat or even out there that's listening, that's anxious, that's easily worried, maybe this is something you can talk to your doctor about, helping you get past this, because, I would hate for this to be, stop someone from living their best life and, having access and being able to stay on this medication when they're dealing with stress, that you can, conquer that stress. So we're going to talk about some ways here in a second to deal with the stress. And hopefully it's things you tried already, but maybe it's some things that you have not tried. Stress is just, I know people whose hair fall out when they're stressed out. I know people who have had to go to the doctor, like the emergency, I should say the ER, because they worked themselves up so much and could not come down, almost like a panic attack, but not quite. And actually stress, I was, doing my research, and stress is one of the main causes of a heart attack. It really is. And so if you are somebody that's easily stressed and you're taking this medication, I would definitely, talk to your doctor about how to manage that stress and maybe, use some strategies to manage your stress. And it's not easy. I don't want to discount that. I know it's not easy to deal with stress. And this holiday time is a time when people are the most stressed out. It should be a joyful time where, to me, Jesus is the reason for the season, right? But so many other things come into play, and that's kind of, I feel like, has been, we've kind of Americanized it, and to the point where, the holiday is all about, gifts and giving. And when giving is good, but giving with great intentions, and we've kind of taken the focus away, which can really be stressful. So I agree with that. It says another thing that happens on this GLP-1, which affects us, is blood sugar spikes. So stress raises your blood sugar levels as your body releases that glucose in the fight or flight mode. So for people using GLP-1s to manage their blood sugar levels, like someone with type 2 diabetes or pre-diabetic like myself, stress can undermine that, making your blood sugar harder to control. So here you think, your blood sugar is being controlled, and it is not. It is not. Those hormones are not working like, we would want them to work because of that extra stress. And then also, doesn't everything affect your sleep if you, can't, regulate your emotions as well, you're stressed, you're worked up, it leads to poor sleep, which can decrease insulin sensitivity, and it makes your weight loss slow, which even further limits, your GLP medication success. So we, in fact, are impacted when we have stress on these medications. So the Superman, idea that I have is all, this stress is like the kryptonite for it, I feel like. Which is a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing. So we got to get this stress under control. Um, so what are some things you guys think that we can do to get our stress level under control? Like before I share what, doctors say and research says, what do you guys think about that? Let's see. Oh, Elaine, thank you for the reminder. Elaine says, please give the thumbs up for this live, and thank you. Thank you, Elaine. Thank you for reminding me. Um, Kim J says stress can also make your glucose good up, which can stall. What I don't know what she meant to say there, but it can stall your weight loss too. Oh my goodness, yes. Oh, I think she says it make your glucose go up, which could stall your weight loss. Yes, very true, very true. 2.0 Mommy says it may take getting on the medication to reduce your stress and anxiety. Yes, so I hope that is happening for most people. I really do. That's a great point. Um, yeah, but I kind of feel like just hearing people and talking to people, 2.0 Mommy, it sounds like people were so stressed and all of that. And then they got on this medication, and hopefully it reduced that. But I can see in some people it's had the opposite effect. And and some people have even talked about it in some of the these lives I've been into, where people are comparing themselves to other people, and that whole topic brings on a whole nother level of stress. When you're comparing, your weight loss to somebody else's weight loss. So I think where people were coming and trying to find like solace and being able to relate, now people are, actually comparing themselves to other people and getting discouraged. So, I hope for the new year, we have to move on from that and try to figure out how to get away from that. I'm just getting home from Walmart. Oh, I use that. Is it called ashwagandha for stress and anxiety? I had some of that and I took it. I don't know that it worked or not. But I was reading a lot about it, and they talk about for stress and anxiety, it's helpful. And I think I took it because I felt like my hair was thinning out. um, and and so yeah, I didn't notice any changes. So, but I don't, I don't know. I don't know if I was the best person to kind of document that, because I didn't really keep track. I just felt the same pretty much. So you have to let us know if that works for you. Exercise, disconnect from toxic people, and sleep. Yes, Elaine, all of those are great. Exercise is, of course, that movement is super helpful. Disconnecting from toxic people that add to that stress. And some people, unfortunately, you can't, maybe your kids, if your kids are out of the house and adults, maybe it's easier. But if your kids are not, that's going to be a hard one. If you have a spouse, that's going to be a hard one. But, if you have family that you could kind of, monitor that with, that might be, helpful. And then, of course, getting that sleep. And that's one of my struggles, is the sleep. Actually, I've been doing, since I've been sick, I got sick, I was really getting myself in the bed, making myself lay down, and that was helpful. Debbie says exercise and meditation. She thinks, okay, listening to music helps with stress. Lakeisha, that was a big one. Who in here listens to music to help with that stress? Last night when I was on Elaine's live, she was playing this Christmas music, and it was so upbeat. It really put me in a great mood. And usually in my classroom, I play like a jazz, kind of like a meditation kind of music. But when the holidays come up, just to kind of set the tone for our day, and it's supposed to relax your mind and let things, flow. And so, I've been playing like some jazz, Christmas music. It's like the Peanuts. I don't know if you've been looking at my community tab, but I've been posting a lot of Charlie Brown type things. And so I've been playing that for my class. And you would think, kids that are, in 8, 9 wouldn't like the jazz, but they love it. They really like it. So, and then some of the jazz is like Christmas related, but it's surprising how quick and how easily music can help with your stress. Excuse me. All right, so Kim J says, yes, you're thinking about getting some ashwagandha. Yes, it helps with so many things. Also, one of my magnesiums is a calming med also. Yes, I've heard that. And the Patrice Denise talked about a magnesium she uses, and it's for calming, it's for calming and stress and all of that. So you have to go back and check out that video. She does mention that in there, and I thought I might have to try that. But what I'm doing right now is working, so I'm one of those people, if it works, I stick to it until it doesn't. Kim J says, yes, music does help me too, Lakeisha. And Z says, listening to music helps also. Very good. So not just for working out, because I know we got to have that music for working out, but also for putting us in the mindset. And I really have gotten away from listening to a lot of music because I don't want my daughter to hear a lot of it. So I don't really listen to a lot at home or in the car. But on Sundays, I do play my gospel. And it reminds me a lot of my mom, my grandmother, my dad, my family. Just, it's a great reminder. It just kind of like to kind of focus my day. My daughter loves her little gospel songs. She can sing them now too. So that kind of really focuses me. But during the week and, getting ready for work and stuff, I'm really not listening to it. Maybe because I know I play it at school. Maybe that's probably why. So it says not managing your stress can lead to emotional eating. Been there. Binge eating. Been there. Drinking more alcohol. Now that's not one thing I have. I've skipped eating fast food. That was me. Remember, I don't know if you guys remember me a couple of weeks ago talking about DoorDash. Do you know, I think I've ordered DoorDash maybe once. It might be twice, but I want to say once. Since I started this GLP-1 in February. And do you know they just sent me a renewal for $96 for the Dash Pass. So I'm gonna have to try to, go through the app. And so I'm gonna have to call them because I'm not gonna be ordering from DoorDash. And then I thought, okay, maybe I'll keep it and I'll order salads and stuff like that. But I just kind of don't even want to get into the habit of that because it reminds me of when I was ordering everything that I shouldn't have been ordering. So I want my $96 back. And so number 4 is drinking more alcohol. I can imagine people who are stressed can turn to that if they're not turning to food. And it's people who turn to both. Skipping meals. So if you're skipping meals, that's not a great way to manage your stress. Exercising less because you kind of probably don't feel like it, don't want to. Sleeping less. I know a lot of people do that when they are stressed out. They're up, they can't sleep. So we don't want to do some of those things, but some of those things just naturally happen when you're stressed out, right? Because you're looking for comfort and a way to like control it. So some of the things you could do, how to lose or avoid stress weight, how to lose weight or avoid your stress weight. So have you guys guessed it? Focus on that exercise, burning off those calories. There's a ton of benefits to exercising. I was reading about, of course, we know that cardiovascular, great for your heart. Remember, stress is directly related to having a heart attack. So getting that cardiovascular health going is great. Increasing your endorphin levels, which can also fight off stress and pain. And exercising, even though I'm not like I'm not one out there, that's burning up the calories out the wazoo. I'm doing my little things that I can do and want to do. But when I exercise, boy, it does make me feel good. It is making me feel so super accomplished for the day. If I exercise during the day, it's a great start to my day. If I do it at night, I feel so accomplished, even if I'm doing it late at night. So I will say, that's going to help with that stress for sure. It's going to make you feel better about yourself. Cooking healthier, maybe cooking healthier versions of your favorite comfort foods is a good start. Keeping a food journal. I know people aren't a fan of these food journals, the tracking calories and all that, but I like what Simply Taisha does with taking pictures of it. That can make it easier for you. I love the idea about tracking for a week and just kind of duplicating, eating the same things. Most successful people that have lost tons of weight will tell you they're not reinventing the wheel every week. Like they're not coming up with like these great, dishes every week. Now I do see the value in doing that maybe on the weekends or trying to spice it up. But most successful people losing weight are eating pretty much the same things over and over. Because they know what's in it, right? They know the calorie count, they know the macros, they know, what to expect. And so I do know that from time to time you want something like a crunchy or you want something that tastes maybe tastes a little different, and you can experiment. But for the most part, we should be kind of eating the things that we know are within our diet or lifestyle change. And so that food journal. Another thing too is I've written down, like jotted some things down that I wanted to eat or try or ate, and it wasn't in my plan. And I just open my little, my phone, and I put it in my notes tab, and I'll write the date and put what I ate. And so I can always go back and track that way. So that's like a little tool you can use. Some people have smart watches and phones where they could text. I know people at work, sometimes they text what they ate if they ate something that they should have been tracking and didn't plan to eat, but they ate. They'll like text themselves or text their husband or whoever they live with, and text them and say, this is what I ate. So ways that just keep track of what you're eating. I think that keeping track it sounds worse than it actually is for some people. So I think if you just maybe try it. Elaine, she's in here, she's been she was solely against tracking. She's been tracking, and I know she said it's been eye-opening for her to be able to see what she's eating, how much of it she's eating. So it's been helpful, and she doesn't have to do it forever, right? I told her, just start for the week and see how it works out for you. And I think she's doing a great job with that. Number 4, try mindful eating habits. And mindful eating also means paying attention to when you're hungry. I remember on one of these lives, somebody talked about actually keeping track of how they felt when they ate. Now, I'm not against tracking, but I'm not a fan of this. But I think if I were to need to do it, I would definitely do it. Knowing the difference between being really hungry or just being bored with the food. So that's the mindful eating. It just helps you avoid using food as a stress coping mechanism. And I think it's really good for that. And then, of course, we know drinking water. So, drinking water is, people always say it, but I think it's still underrated. Staying hydrated, it does fill you up. I've told my daughter this, my daughter will eat her dinner and she'll say, Mommy, I'm still hungry. And she wouldn't have drank any water. And I say, honey, you need to drink that water. Then ask me if you're still hungry after you drink the water, because it does help her fill up her belly. And 9 times out of 10, after she drinks that water that I have given her, she does not want to eat anything else. She'll say, oh, I'm full. And so I think we have to also be mindful of that when we're eating. Maybe, people, I know people were advocating, doctors were advocating at one point. I haven't heard it a lot, but they would tell you to drink 8 ounces of water before you eat a meal. To kind of fill your belly up. And so that does work. I try to do that. I haven't had to do it as much on this GLP-1, but that was one of the things I used to do to try to fill my stomach up, is to drink water before I even ate. And it says, it physically helps to fill up the space in your stomach. It decreases your appetite while it reduces your thirst. So I think that's a great strategy. And my daughter, actually, I use that strategy with her. Mental health checks is a big thing too. There's something to be said for talking to a therapist, friends, or family. And when you can't talk to your friends and family because you might think they're a little judgmental, I think going for that therapist is a good thing. Now, I don't know if your insurance covers it. We know therapy can be very expensive, but maybe that's something you can look into. I was recently talking to someone who's lost a significant amount of weight on a GLP-1. And in order for her to get those GLP-1 meds, she said she had to talk to her. She had to get a therapist, and we went through her insurance. And I just thought that's a great thing that you had to, meet with a therapist before you start taking this medicine. And I see why she seems so wise to me about all things GLP-1 med and medicine. And she just seems like and she doesn't have it all together. She says that, but she seems like she does. Like you could tell she's really thought things through. And so I think a therapist is great if you can, fit it into your insurance. I know Alonda talked about one of her coworkers, and Alonda, I don't know if you're still listening, but did she ever get that help from a therapist? I wonder, your coworker, because I remember you saying something about she had to see a therapist. So let's see what people are saying in the chat. Kim J says, "Oh, I use this magnesium glycinate, and magnesium L are two mags that help with anxiety." Yes, and mine is a multi, magnesium. Kim, good idea. I haven't tried that, but I use Valerian at St. John's Wort. Okay, did I say it right? Valerian. Kim J says, that's mostly what I listen to, gospel, for my stress relief. The Lord is my help for sure. Absolutely. And it puts me in the best mood. I mean, if, I'm feeling a little irritable, it snaps me right out. Yes, Kim J says, Nadia. Mia says, it's all what you get used to. I plan on starting to track being home. I will be tempted to graze all day. That adds up for me. I stress eat mindlessly when I'm not distracted. Yeah, so I think that's great. That's a great plan for you to track while you're at home. And like I said, once you track for a week or just even a few days, it's very eye-opening. It won't be something you have to do all the time because you'll be able to eyeball it, right? You'll be able to eyeball and kind of do that intuitive eating where you just kind of know what the macros are, know what the calories are, and then you can go from there. Kim J says, yes, the Patrice Denise often purchases the Calm magnesium powder or Spring Valley magnesium powder. She drinks a glass at night. Yes, and she talked about that, and she didn't have the bottle with her at the time, but she talked about how that's very helpful. And, she's doing a lot of exercising too. So I think that all just like helps her, center herself and bring it down, especially, at night. So that's pretty cool. All right, so let's see. So we could safely say managing stress through activities like exercise, being mindful, having those healthy routines can optimize how well your GLP-1 medication works for weight loss and blood sugar regulation. So that's why we really want to deal with our stress, because it's going to affect our GLP-1 medication, and we don't want it to do that. So does anybody have any other suggestions on things we can do for stress? Do you know somebody who's been stressed out that you could, kind of reach out to and offer some support to? I know somebody that's been stressed out, and I've just been kind of like keeping my distance, kind of, being a friend from the sidelines. But, after reading through this and doing some research, I thought, I'm going to reach out to this person this weekend. That's my goal, to reach out and just, say, how are you doing? Can I do anything for you? Can I support you in any way? And so, I just thought, sometimes people aren't going to necessarily tell you, but you could really see when people are stressed out and kind of need support. And so, I plan to do that this weekend for someone I know. Mia says, sometimes helping someone else takes my mind off my personal stress. It does. It really does. It does help. It does help. So does anybody have anything stressful they're going through that we can help you problem solve through? We're not doctors here, I know, but a lot of times we have experience that may could help you with a stressful situation? Anybody? So you want to share something stressful, or another thing I would love for us to do is to celebrate the wins that we have going on here. So, does anybody have any updates about their weight loss? I haven't gotten on the scale, but of course, my last weight loss, weight loss was 52 pounds. So it's so funny because I'm 52 years old and I lost 52 pounds. Isn't that so cool? 52 at 52. I'm going to put that in the chat. Bam. 52 at 52. So what are your wins? We want to celebrate you. What are some other wins that you guys are having? And thank you, Jill, for coming. You're serving dinner. Good night, ladies. Merry Christmas. I am going to be on here on Christmas Day. So if you want to come on Christmas Day, I plan on making it fun, doing some things I would do it, kind of to make with my students to make it fun. So if you're free on Christmas night, join me. It might just be me talking to me, but that's okay. That is okay. Bye, Jill. So anybody else want to give us some celebrations? Hi there. I don't know why I thought this was at 8 p.m. Sorry, but Merry Christmas all. That's awesome, Dee Dee. Thank you. What are your wins? What are your wins? What have you guys lost this week? How are you doing this week? Are you exercising? What's going on? Delilah, how are you doing since that surgery? Are you up and moving? Let us know. Let us know what's going on with you guys. Let us know in the chat so we can celebrate. I'm trying to think. Is there something else? I wanted to talk about too, and this will have to be a time for another day, but one of my goals is to get to 100 pounds. So I'm really, on the road to 100 pounds. And I have a lot of little, I shouldn't say little, big milestones to get to before I get there. But I'm staring that 100 pounds down, and I'm thinking I'm covered. So I have how many? 48 more pounds to go to get to the 100. So that's my next goal. That's what I'm looking forward to. And I'm not going to set a date or a time because I think one of the things that we have to learn how to do is set realistic goals. And sometimes I don't always do that. So I need to kind of like you back up from putting a date and a time on it. Even though I have a goal in my mind, I just don't want to say it out loud yet. Delilah says, my win today is PCP streaming. PCP streaming. What? When I told her the hospital checked my A1C for pre-op, and now it's 4.8. That is amazing. 4.8. Very good. Very good. I love that. Oh, Elaine is in with the check-in. I did 832 calories today. That is such a plus for me. I was only at 687 yesterday. I'm struggling, but trying to eat more. All right. So, but Elaine, you do have a plan. So I think, you have a plan. You're going to, be, doing some traveling and all of that. So I think that you should put that plan in place, but that's a big jump from yesterday, right? Because you were at almost 200 calories. Up to 200 more calories. So keep that going. Keep that going. 832. Does anybody have any, tips for Elaine that we could help her with? Because she's struggling to get in that food. She's struggling. I think, Elaine, do you have a goal? Are you trying to get to 12 or 1300 calories at least? I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm not sure if what her calorie goal is. Thanks, Kim. I was 6.6 in June, and now I'm officially not even pre-diabetic even more. That is a win. Yes, yes, yes. I love that. I love that. And now I'm trying to get there like you. Jeez Louise. 6.6, and you're down to, what did you say? 4.8. Oh my gosh, that's almost 2 solid points. That's what, 1.8 points. I love that. That's awesome. Oh my goodness. A non-scale victory. Kim says her fasting glucose has been lower the last couple of days. Very good. So you're taking that on a daily basis, I'm guessing, which is great to do that. I'm healing far better physically than I ever imagined I would be at 2 weeks. So yay, that is so good. That is so good. I agree. Sorry, I meant to say my PCP screamed out loud. I'm sure. I am sure. I am sure. Probably so proud of you. Awesome, Delilah. Yes. Thanks, Kim. And then she's saying how she was 6.6 in June. 1,500 calories is your goal. Okay, so we got to get you some more food. Oh my goodness. So you're over half though, which is good. So you're getting up there, Elaine. Oh man. Um, let's see. That's so great, Delilah. I was gonna say, Elaine, drinking some more protein shakes, but those protein shakes are high in protein, but not a lot of calories. What about drinking Ensure? I remember people trying to gain weight would drink Ensure just so they could have like those nutrients and things like that. Is that something you would try, Elaine? Ensure I think has the goal of it is to like give you nutrients. It's a little different than like a Fairlife protein shake, I think, or I don't know, what is the other one people use? Premier. I think this one is geared toward like giving your body those essentials that you might not be getting. And it's called Ensure. You might want to try some of those. Kim J, Delilah, that's where I'm trying to get where you are. I'll recheck again my A1C within the next couple of weeks. Yes, yes, yes. And I check on my A1C in February. So I'm excited to see, where I end up. You'll get there, Kim J. I know it. Praying for you for sure. Boost can help. That's another one too, Debbie, Boost. So if you don't know about Ensure, you might want to try Boost. Um, for Elaine, maybe more complex carbs and healthy fats, nuts, seeds, avocado. Elaine, do you eat nuts and seeds? Now those are higher in fat. But they're also gonna make her full, fuller faster. Like they have that protein kick. I don't know a lot of people overeating nuts like that, but I guess you probably could. Um, Alonda says self-care, sleep. I listen to music. Oh, very good. Sleep, yeah, that sleep is important. That sleep is important. Um, Complex carbs, brown rice, beans. Um, Elaine, do you eat beans, Elaine? That's another good one because that's fiber and you're getting fiber, you're getting the complex carb, you're getting protein. So bean is like a what do you call it? A triple header. I don't know. Mia, there's a clear Ensure with a lot of vitamins. Okay, all right. I've never seen that. Elaine, that might be something for you to try. My doctor doesn't want me checking my A1C often because she's worried my insurance will deny my coverage for Mounjaro. But the hospital did it and I didn't even know I was being checked. Oh, okay, okay. Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Good point. Nuts such as pecans have some fiber too. Yes, yes, yes. Elaine says, I will try Boost. I will also fix some beans tomorrow. Thanks for the suggestions. Yes, that's good suggestions. And beans, I don't know how you're getting your beans, but if you're buying beans in the bag, like you're starting from scratch, if you soak those babies, it takes away making you have gas and that whole bloated effect that beans can have. So I would let them soak first, but you're probably over there being Chef Elaine. You probably already know that. Um, Anything else? Let's see. Yes, the bag, only the bag, LOL. Okay. No beans in the can for Elaine. So yeah, do you soak your beans, Elaine? Because soaking them will help with the bloating and the gas. I do know that. Let's see what she says. All right, any more celebrations? Anybody else in here celebrating anything? Kim J, Nadia, Z, Debbie. That's so Rain. I don't know if she's still in here. Jen. Oh, Jen is down so many pounds. The 2.0 mommy left. Mia's having that surgery coming up. So anybody else want us to celebrate something before we leave here? Let's see. Elaine says yes. Okay, Chef Elaine in the house. Elaine, add your calories for the week instead of daily and see how close you get to your weekly goal. My dietitian has me doing it that way because I do have days I eat 250 calories only. Oh yeah, so that's a good way. Maybe, so you don't really, focus so much on what you didn't do, and it'll pick that average up. I think that's a great idea for Elaine. Um, and plus Elaine's gonna be, off her schedule, so that's also a good thing. And Elaine, I would just like track in my phone, like jot things down in your phone, take pictures of your meals. That might help you. If you're too busy to put it in the tracker. Yes, Alonda, that is perfect. Mia says, I just tried on a smaller pair of capris. Woohoo! They fit so cool. That is cool. And Mia, I have some things coming your way. I'm gonna go through my some of my other things this weekend. So you'll be getting a package. I wanted to have it there by Christmas, but I'm not so sure. We'll see. Only because I think the post office or FedEx and all those places probably are swamped. Um, that's so Raven celebrating, not gaining. Yay! I'll take that too. I love that. That is always a win for me. Before I never really celebrated unless I lost. Being on this GLP-1 medication has taught me that you celebrate all the non-scale victories, and I think that's a scale victory though, not gaining. It's an actual scale victory. So that is great. But that was good to hear, DD, about soaking the beans. Everyone don't know that. Oh, okay, good, good. I'm glad I could give out that little tidbit or tip of information. Simply Taisha, strength training is definitely a great stress relief. Yes, I can imagine that is too. Even without the weights, I think it's great too. Good idea, Delilah. Yes, to track for the week. I think that's a great alternative. To tracking every day. So you could do your weekly total. Very good. Very good. Hey, 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 coming in late from the downsides. Hi, Mindy. Yeah, I thought that was so cool at the beginning before they went through the chat. They were shouting me out, and Mr. Chris said that he watched my channel. I was like, that is so cool. I thought that was very good that they said that. So they're trying to get me over there to interview. That's so funny. I will be over there. I just don't know when I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it. I am going to do it. Hey, Mindy, everyone's saying, Mindy, do you have any thing you want us to celebrate? Let's see. Let's see, Mindy. Anything, Mindy, you want us to celebrate? Any wins? For you guys. Before we leave, I just wonder, what are you guys doing for Christmas? I am going to be here on Wednesday, Christmas night. Like I said, it may just be me and my shadow. I don't know. But I am going to be on here because it's Wednesday, and I'm not doing a whole lot. And so I'm just going to kind of relax and watch movies and just enjoy not having to get up and be somewhere. Like, I'm just so excited about that. And so, hey, Beverly. And so I am going to be here on Christmas, but what are you guys doing on Christmas Day? Like, what are your plans? What do you guys have going on? Anything? I'm going to try to make it a little bit more fun and, just do something different, do something a little creative. I have a lot of games up my sleeves that that I do with little ones. So you guys will see how they work with adults. You just never know. Hi, Dee Dee. Hi, guys. Hey, Beverly. Mindy says, finally got into some jeans I bought that were too small. And yes, the funny thing is today I had on, we could wear jeans, and I had on these jeans, and they're stretch jeans that are kind of big on me now. And it's so funny. The stomach area, I could just like gather it up and like just, like I don't know, I could put a whole probably my daughter could fit in the top part of the belly. So I was so excited. And then I have on this pink shirt. I don't know if I have the best lighting today. I don't have all my lights on that I normally have on in here. But my shirt is pink. It's not black. So I'm normally wearing something black. So I think this is kind of cool. Let me turn this light while I'm thinking about it. I'm like, I don't really have the best lighting now that I'm looking at it. But I got so many compliments on my pink shirt, and probably because people are used to seeing me in all things black and fabulous, not anything pink and fabulous. So That was cool. Kim J says her non-scale victory. I looked at a memory on Facebook today from 2 years ago, and I was grateful to see such a difference between then and now. And Kim, that's like the best feeling. That's one of the things I look at some of my pictures and I'm like, who is that lady? It's just so amazing to see. Lakeisha says is saying hi, and Mindy saying hi. Delilah says David and I will be eating tamales and watching movies together with a fire and Mexican hot chocolate protein shakes. I love that. I love that. So my daughter and I will probably be doing the same thing earlier in the day, and then of course at night I'll be on here. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That sounds great. I think I'm gonna go see Wicked. Has anybody saw Wicked, and is it appropriate for a 7-year-old? Now, a lot of my daughter's friends have gone already, and I'm one of those moms that look at like the suggested ages before I, will take her to a movie or even to watch a cartoon. We look at the info, and it'll tell you the recommended age. So she's waiting until she turns 8 before she could watch some things. And so yeah, what about Wicked? Is that appropriate for her? I don't know. I was thinking about going to see that on Monday. On Monday, so we'll see. Mia says, okay, sounds good. That's okay not being here by Christmas. I will have someone next weekend to be able to get packages because I can't reach them while I'm stuck on the knee scooter. Oh, okay. So you won't get it anyway. Okay. But we'll be in touch. I'll email you and keep you posted. This weekend, I'm planning on going through I have to change over my summer and winter things. I'm still wearing, this is technically probably a summer fall blouse. So, I need to do that. I still have a lot of stuff to go through. Mindy says, quote from the movie Mean Girls. Oh, that is too cute. I didn't catch that. Kim J, Christmas, family breakfast around 12. Later that night, we will be playing games on Zoom at with my other sister's family that lives out of town. That sounds like fun. Are you still doing the vision board? Yes, I am doing the vision board. I have to gather those supplies. We will need those for the new year. Yes. So I'm doing the vision board. Actually, the vision board party, that is going to be, we're setting goals for health and wellness, and that is going to be on the 18th. And that is not the 18th. That's what it is today. That's going to be on January 1st. I'm doing it actually on New Year's Day. And so I want to do it a little bit later though, because I know the Downsize goes live on Wednesday, and I'm thinking about maybe even moving my time to 8:30 because I want to be in there listening too. Sometimes, but I was wondering what time is a good time. Do you think 9? It's funny because I see people up late and being night owls. And I would just wonder, if I scale the time back, how that would work out. I don't know, but I think for that New Year's Day, I want to do 8:30 or 9 o'clock, and because I think most people may not have to go to work that next day. But I really want you guys on. So when I'm doing the live, so I'm going to be here every Wednesday. So next week, the 25th, I'll be here. The week after that is the New Year's Day. I'll be here. The only way I won't come live on a Wednesday is if I'm just down and out sick, or something comes up and I can't be here. Or my daughter has an event or something that I have to go to. And maybe I would just do it later. But yeah, I committed myself to every Wednesday. So, I'm sticking to that. So I'll be here on next, the 25th, Christmas Day at 8 o'clock. I may do 8:30. And then I'll be here on the 1st when we have that big, we're having that vision board party. So I want you guys to come. I'll talk more about that on Christmas. Maybe I'll send something out too on my community post. But I want us to make a health and wellness vision board. And the reason why I say health and wellness, and maybe I'll show you guys my financial vision board I made a couple years ago. One of the things I did wrong with that is it's super cute. I mean, it's adorable. And one of the things I did, I took a picture and put it on my phone, and that's a great idea, but I really don't look at it like I should. So what I need to do is hang it in my office, right where I'm looking up now. I could put it there. And so I'm going to put my financial one because I still have some goals to reach on that. And then I'm going to put my health and wellness. And the reason why one of my friends texted me and said I should be wearing a red shirt. That's so funny. But the reason why she made me lose my train of thought too. The reason why I say, I don't know if this was what I was going to say, but the reason why I'm saying you should actually have it like where you could hang it. The phone is great because maybe you use your phone more. You could just take a picture of it, but really it just helps to look at it. Like if I had it hanging, I would look at it more. I kind of made it, and then it was financial. I looked at it the first maybe 6 months, and then I ended up putting it away, and it's just kind of stayed away. And I actually revisited it last year, and because I didn't do a new one, and looked at it, and I still have some goals to reach on there. And so I said I'm going to take that out and I'm going to hang that up, and that's going to be a reminder. But I want it to be health and wellness because about you, because I know a lot of times, most of us are caretakers, even if we're not moms, we're taking care of somebody. That's just like, in our nature. And so I want us to focus on ourselves. I want your health and wellness goal to be focused on you and what you're going to do in this coming year to better your health and better your wellness. And like for me, one of my goals is to lose 48 more pounds. So that's going to be my goal. How am I going to get there? What's going to be my inspiration? Even though my daughter's my inspiration and she's one of them, I'm not going to focus on her because it's about me. And I think we have to normalize, like, especially caretakers, and anybody, we have to normalize taking care of ourselves first, because I know a lot of us take care of other people, and we kind of put ourselves last, which is really how I ended up in the situation I am now with my weight. Putting everybody before myself, because I always think I got myself. And you just kind of let yourself go. And so I don't want to do that. And I want my vision board to kind of remind me. But if you're doing a vision board on the phone, like I know Traces of Twan's Life is going to be here. She talks about she's going to do hers on her phone. That's great. But, like I said, I'm just saying, from somebody who's made these before, also being able to hang it up somewhere is a good reminder, because on your phone, are you going to be pulling your phone out looking at it? Well, you might. For me, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to have it both places. So what I'm going to do is create my poster, and then I'm going to take a picture of the poster. You could actually make yours on the phone. I think that's a great idea. And Twan's probably going to use hers like that on her phone. She's probably going to have that phone out looking at it all the time. I just know I won't. So however you do it. But I do want some people to come on here and share. So hopefully you'll come on the live on January 1st and share your health and wellness goal. And don't be embarrassed, but I understand if you don't want to, because I always tell people, if I could get on here and show my face, anybody can. Because if you really just knew me, I mean, my friends are probably all still in shock. Like, we just can't believe Shay is on YouTube. So, if I could do it, you guys could do it. And, I think we could do it. Then you don't have to, but I'm going to encourage you to join me on the live, just to share. If we want to encourage people that aren't a part of this community, maybe we'll entice somebody to join us on our GOP1 journey. Maybe we'll encourage somebody else to make their own vision board for their health and wellness for themselves, though. So I really just want you guys to focus on you. And I'm going to put more information out, but that's going to be on January 1st. And we're going to have fun. I'm looking forward to it. Pretty exciting. So I have a lot of comments about this Wicked. I'm excited to see. So Elaine went to see Wicked, and she walked out on the first hour. I'm probably not the one. I think it's appropriate for a 3-month-old. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That is too funny. So you didn't have any kids with you, because like I said, my daughter, some of her friends have already gone. Wicked is not appropriate for 7, more like 10. Okay, and I think I want to say the review. It's this one kind of movie review channel that I look at, and they didn't have her 8. So when her friend, who we met at the movies a couple weeks ago, told me that she saw it. I was kind of surprised. And then I've heard other people say they've taken their kids, and some of her friends have gone. So I thought I'd ask you guys. Beverly saying hello to Lakeisha. I forgot about the vision board. Mine is done. Yes, yes, yes. So you have to come and share it with us. That's so Raven. It was that bad, Elaine. I've been nervous to go see it. But Elaine, are you saying it was bad because you felt like you were too old for the movie, or was it just a bad movie, period? For me, it was bad. I don't know. I just couldn't get into it. Oh, okay, okay. Dee, I asked Google. It reads Wicked is generally not recommended for young kids. It's PG, so the movie is more appropriate for age 10 and 10 plus. Yeah, and and I read that it's because I guess they have like some, maybe some sexual undertones, and some people and some kids I know, because I said, "Oh, I thought it was not appropriate for kids," and one of the little girls said, "Oh, they just kiss each other. That's all." Like she made that comment. So but thank you for letting me know, because then we'll just wait for Mustafa to come out. Like I know that's supposed to be coming out. Raina, there are lots of opinions. I have seen the musical 3 times. It's my favorite show, but if it's not your cup of tea, yeah. But I think she's saying because of the age. And Mindy, I think you did say, or who was that said? Kim J. It's appropriate for 10 plus. I hate musicals, but I didn't know that until I saw Wicked on Broadway. Oh, you didn't like it on Broadway either. Jeez Louise. I wanted to see the theater version of Wicked, but it was canceled when it came to my city. I was upset. I think you should go, that's Orena, because it sounds like you really want to see it. So I don't know. Did you see the movie? If not, you should go see the movie. I kind of have no desire other than my daughter wants to go. But I don't care one way or another. She says, Kim J says, so you want us to do the board before so we could talk about it on the live on January 1st. Yes, yes, that's a great point, because I don't know if people thought we were doing it together, but I mean, I'll do it however you want to do it. Like if you guys want us to do it together, but the problem is we can't see. You know what I'm saying, Kim J? We can't see everybody. So that's why I thought if we did the board and then came together. So I'll put some things out on my community tab. I'll talk about it again next week on the 25th on Christmas. And you can always catch the replay if you're with your family and friends on that day. And then I'll talk a little bit more about it, about the vision board. And then we'll meet and do it the next week. So I'm glad you said that, because that's a clarification. Yeah, I think you should have it. We want you to have it done when you come. Like if we all could see each other somehow and just be interactive and talking about it, that would be great. But we can't do that on this YouTube live. I mean, we could get up to 10 people on here, I believe, but to actually make it, I just don't know. I think it'll just be better if we all came with it and shared it. And I think that's going to be such a powerful experience, because when you do these vision boards, like your personality and your belief system and what's important to you really comes out. And I think you'll also give other people ideas on, the goal setting, because really you're setting goals for yourself, which is great. Mia says a great health and wellness book is Danny Williamson's Wild and Well. She believes you can eat better to heal health issues. Nothing crazy, but very down to earth. Thank you. Thank you for the book suggestion. I love that. Especially in the next couple of weeks, I'll have time to look at a book or read a book, listen to a book even. DD, that is one reason I took long to do YouTube. I was ashamed and embarrassed to be on the screen, yet here I am. Yeah, I can relate. And I don't know if I was ashamed. Maybe I was. I don't know. I never connected that emotion. But I'm just a very private person. I'm like I'm not out there and I'm out and about like that. I kind of like to just be like under the radar, not seen and heard. So the fact that, I mean, I'm not like I kind of like I'm an introvert, and I've become that way since I've gained so much weight, but once I'm in the party, once I'm in the scene, once I'm on the scene, I'm in there. I'm gonna liven up your party. But when I first get there, I might just kind of be like, looking around, laid back, probably didn't even want to come. But once I'm there, I'm gonna make it a good time. But yeah, I've just become somewhat of an introvert. So this YouTube habit has really kind of like pulled me out of that a little bit. But I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you stepped out. We stepped out. Mia says, what do you use on vision board? Draw stuff or pictures or stuff from magazines? Not sure how it works. Yes, and I'll talk about it a little bit more next week. But yeah, no, usually around these parts, they don't really make newspapers like they used to. So I used to get my things from newspapers and magazines. And at one point, I was very into all things financial, and I was getting a lot of financial magazines coming to my house. And I, since stopped my subscriptions to those. So now I would probably just go on the internet, print something out, or pick up a newspaper, see what I can see. Sometimes people are giving away magazines, and this won't help me now because I won't be at work. So I'll just have to get some magazines, maybe from my dad, or pick up a magazine that is a health and wellness magazine. But yeah, you could get pictures from anywhere. Print out pictures of yourself, your phone, whatever, put them on the board. Um, however you want to do it. Yes, she is in therapy. We had lunch today. Oh, good job. Good for her. Good for her. Okay, I remember that. Story. And Alonda, that's so full circle for you because remember when you first started, you were looking for help and answers. And now it's just so full circle that, you've stayed on this GLP-1 medication, you push through, and now you can help somebody else. And you know what? Helping other people for me is such a good feeling. Like it's such a good feeling. I love that. I really love it. Delilah, that's funny. I'm 50-50 with musicals. I love the Chicago movie. Yes, yes. Um, she said you could do a live with Zoom. And I don't know, can you do it? Guess you can. The only thing I don't like about Zoom, I taught my classes on Zoom for a whole year. I taught on Zoom. And one of the things, now mind you, I'm teaching 8-year-olds and 9-year-olds. But one of the things I don't like, and I've taught adults on Zoom too, so I shouldn't say 8 and 9-year-olds. I've actually taught adults on Zoom before. But one of the things I don't like is like the pictures are small. I know you can zoom in things. I think to me, this format is a little bit better. And we could put 10 people on here and then we could rotate people off. I think it'll be good on YouTube. Um, yeah, Zoom. I think Zoom needs some improvements. I will say that. I know you could get a bunch of people on there at one time, but I don't know if it's like the most what word am I looking for? Like the most intimate kind of a setting. Do you know what I mean, Elaine? I don't know. Connect to YouTube. You said you could connect it to YouTube. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'll look into it and we'll see. I did my vision board digitally. I work in marketing, so that's how I do everything artsy. Yeah, you could do that digital. However, I was just telling them, I think for me, taking a picture of it and putting it up is going to be a good reminder for me. I'm one of those visual people. Like I like to see it. So that's why I probably will always come here with some sort of slide and being prepared to share because I'm one of those visual people that like to see things hanging. So I think, but I think that's cool. You could do it. I'm a tech girl too. So I might just do two, Mindy. That sounds super cool. And Mindy, I've never done one. Yeah, I'm looking forward to you sharing, Taisha, and seeing what you come up with, for that, because you've never done one. So that gets me excited. Simply Taisha saw Wicked with her oldest daughter in her show choir years ago, and she really enjoyed it. Okay, okay. Isn't it like Mindy, Raina, all you guys, isn't it like a spinoff of The Wizard of Oz, or am I wrong in my thinking? But that I feel like that's what it is. A spinoff, like a spinoff of that in some form or fashion. Or am I totally off? I don't know. Delilah says, I just don't like people. I hate attention. I hate to be seen. That is what has always been what made me self-sabotage once the being seen began. Okay, so you're making videos. Are you feeling better about that now? I think you said you were, but how do you feel now? Um, And do you think that you're not liking people had something to do with like being overweight, or where you just have you just always been like that? Delilah says, I make my vision boards by searching for images and then getting them printed out at wherever and use those. Yeah, I've done mine like that too. Um, Wicked is the prequel to the I didn't realize that. Okay, okay, okay. All right. So now I feel like I have to see Wicked. Now I don't feel like my daughter has to see it, but I feel like I need to see it. Okay. All right. Well, I have to break it to her. I don't know how I'm gonna break it to her because she's so excited about that. But I know it's another I saw another Christmas movie that's coming out, so I think she'll like that. I think she'll like. Okay, so Raina said she didn't know that was a prequel either. Okay, yeah, so I didn't know that at all. But I could see it's related. I just didn't know how. All right, so we'll talk more about that vision board. Anybody else have anything they want to share for the good of the cause? Um, let's see. I'm trying to think. We did our celebrations. We talked about um you should totally see it first and then you'll know if you feel like it's appropriate for her. Yeah, yeah. I guess I should. Yeah, I feel like I want to wait though. I'm not going to go to the movie and see it. Everybody I know has already went that wants to see it. I think I'll see it. You could order it pay-per-view. And I think maybe I'll see it then, or maybe I'll see if I can, however I could watch it. She just likes the movie experience, and I don't think it's even so much about the movie, to be honest. She just likes the popcorn, she likes the icy, and now she's into nachos. And so as long as she has that, we could be watching home videos at the movie, and she'll be okay. So she'll be good. But that's a good idea. I was thinking of that too. Maybe I could just order pay-per-view, but sometimes the pay-per-view is more than the actual movie. I don't understand that, but I think because I'm in a movie club and that's what makes mine seem like it's a little cheaper than it is. I get a little bit of a discount, but movies are expensive, very expensive. All right, so well, hopefully you came up with some ways to handle that stress, to handle the stress. And I'm telling you, my stress level last week was maybe at an 8, I would say, maybe at an 8 or a 9. I would say an 8 or a 9. Today, my stress level is at probably a 3. And I only say a 3 because it's always something to do. I feel like it's always something to do. Like, when you're an educator, you never have a list that's the slate is clean. And Alonda, I don't know if she's still listening in here, but Alonda, do you ever feel like you have nothing to do? Like there's always something to do that's work related. And then even at home, like it's so many projects I have around my house, I always have something to do. So that's why I'm going to say a 3, because I just have stuff that's always on my list. Like I've never had a list where it's like I have nothing to do. I'm just taking a breather. And so, yeah, that's why I would say, if anything, I'm feeling a 3. So what about you guys? Has this helped your stress? Was this helpful at all? Did this give you a different way of looking at stress? Um, what do you guys think about the stress? It's a great topic, but is it helpful? And then are there any other topics that you guys are interested in too? Because let me know. I'm gonna put that on my community tab. Because I have some things I want to talk about, but I don't know if that's necessarily what you guys want to talk about. So when I come to that conclusion, I just think like I'm gonna just put it in a video and talk about the things that maybe I want to talk about. But you guys have to let me know. Let's see. Does anybody make a comment? Okay. All right. That was it. That was that simplification. Anything else for the cause? Is Alonda still in here? What did I just ask Alonda? I forgot. Oh, about try a poll. Yeah, I could do a poll. The only thing about those community tab polls is a lot of people don't answer those necessarily, but I'm gonna put it out there. I'm gonna put some polls out there next week. and see what people say. And then we'll talk about it on the 25th too. Like we're here for when we're here for Christmas. Um, Debbie says it was helpful finding out how stress affects the GLP-1. Yeah, so that was for me too. I thought that was an eye opener because, like I said, I thought this GLP-1 was like the Superman, and now I'm seeing stress is its kryptonite. So, um, Simply Taisha says no now, no stress. Very good. So even with the holiday, you're not stressed out. I love that. Great info. Yes. Thank you so much, Kim. I meant you could do a poll now while we're on here. Okay, Simply Taisha. That's a great idea. You know, I didn't know people were want to do a poll, but so I guess the poll would be, what is the poll, Simply Taisha? I've just forgot that quick. What did I say? I'm trying to think back to what I said. We're doing the poll about what again, Simply Taisha? I forgot. My mind is not stressed, but I didn't remember that. Your topics. Oh, okay. Topics, yeah. Topics anybody want to discuss? Well, we know the next coming couple of weeks on Christmas Day, we're just gonna be chilled out, having fun. On the first, we're gonna be talking about setting goals for the year. And then after that, I'm open to whatever you guys want to talk about. I like kind of doing research, finding out about things. I'm going to really be hitting that menopause again hard because I'm thinking I'm in it. I'm in the trenches with that. Debbie says you're at stress level 4, and so I'm at a 3, like a 2, 3, and Debbie, you're at a 4. I would say that's kind of low stress. I would say a 4 is kind of on a lower stress. So on a scale from 1 to 10, where are you guys with stress? I'm at a 3. Debbie's at a 4. I think that's good. If I were a doctor, what would I be saying? Oh, and then my doctor friend, I'm going to be contacting him this week. I haven't done that yet. That's on my list of things to do. So maybe hopefully in the new year he could come. Or if he's not willing, he's come and talked to my class. So unless something changed, like in my school, he's come to a couple of events. So talking to kids about, being a doctor and, his whole journey to becoming a doctor and a plastic surgeon. So I'm thinking if he talked to my students, he should be able to come here and talk. But sometimes talking to adults is intimidating. Talking to kids is easier than talking to adults. So I know that for a fact. For most people, I'm not going to say everybody, but so we'll have to see. So that's also something that I'm trying to plan for the new year. But anybody else, stress level, because we want to help you bring it down if you have that high stress going on. Okay, nobody. Well, you know what? I'm feeling good about this live. I feel like we gave Elaine some support. I feel like we gave Mia support. I feel like we shouted everybody out that wanted to share their weight loss. And I hope you have some ways of dealing with that stress. Get rid of that toxicity. If you have it going on, it's one way. I know it's kind of it's easy to say and hard to do, especially, when you are dealing with family and the stress of the holiday, but we got this. Lifestyle for Living, hello and welcome. Lifestyle for Living says her stress level is between a 2 and a 3. So you're another person that doesn't have a lot of stress. I'm so impressed by this. Like, this is good because usually people are highly stressed around the holidays. So I'm guessing you guys aren't cooking and having family and friends over. You're probably just like relaxing, doing something low key, not like the whole Thanksgiving. As far as food is concerned, for me, I think Christmas is worse because there's so many goodies around Christmas time. And so I'm going to be glad that I'm on a break for a couple weeks because I'm around sweets all the time and I choose not to be at my house. So yeah. Simply Taisha, thank you for stopping in. And on that note, everybody, unless somebody has something else they want to say or talk about, I certainly can stay here and chat. But if not, I'm going to say have a good night as well. Anybody else have anything they want to say with the group? Mia's at an 8. Well, we know, Mia, your surgery. We're going to put you on our prayer list. and we're going to be having some good thoughts for you. And I will email you, Mia. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night. And I will see you guys on Christmas. If you want to pop in and just say hi, I will be here. Me, myself, and I. Good night, everybody. Have a good rest of your week. Tomorrow is Thursday already. That's a positive. It's already Thursday. Bye.